Hi everyone, Tracy here. Two clients who came to me separately for family constellations, and then they came to me together for a couple session. And as you probably understand by now, I work quite differently. I'm not a talk therapy counselor. I'm not a talk therapy coach. It's not for me about talking. It's about somatic work always. Whenever you come to me for coaching in any form, when we do family constellations, it's very somatic. We're working in the body. We're working through the nervous system to heal what's going on in the body. The mind gets to come along for the ride, but it certainly doesn't do the work. It's actually the body that's doing the work, and the body's where we live. And the beautiful thing about people being able to do separate family constellations and then come to me as a couple is that I understand what's driving the couple. I understand that maybe on one side what triggers the trauma and what's driving them. So for example, if one client has a massive trauma and disassociation, and the other client has a need to run because their whole family system has been running since they landed here in Australia years ago. So we've got two people who are in a partnership together, and when there's a disagreement and something happens, and disagreements are normal and very important to have in partnerships, in relationships, because that's how you grow. If you never argue and nothing ever happens, how do you make growth together? So disagreements should happen, arguments should happen. It's how you handle them. That is the really important part to keep your relationship safe and growing. And there are two ways to handle them. And one is in the mind, where you talk and you go, you didn't do this and you did this, but you said that. No, I didn't say that. And then it becomes this kind of argument that happens in the head. But once you understand yourself, your trauma triggers, and how you breathe and how you communicate things, you can actually communicate on a very, very different level. So if I have someone whose issue is abandonment, and if I have someone whose biggest issue is they need to run and move, imagine what happens. Can you see how they're totally different? And if they give each other what they themselves need, it is never going to work. Because if I have been abandoned, then my biggest thing is, don't you dare walk away from me whilst we're in the middle of this. I need this sorted out now. And if my issue is running and I need to move, it's like, right, my trauma response is coming up. I have a big need to run. I just need to move to get back into my body, to feel my presence again, and then I can sit down and be present and do this. But I need a moment to move. This person's going to feel abandoned. And when this person says, you need to stay here and do this for me now, we need to figure this out now, this person is going to feel very, very trapped. So you can see how this is never going to work in the old talking relational styles that they have. So what I would do with this couple is I would teach them exactly that. I would say, well, these are your trauma style. These are what your needs are. And then I work with the body, and I teach the masculine partner how to be present, how to breathe, and how through just his breath alone, he can make his woman feel safe enough that she forgets what she was even talking about in the first place. And I can also teach the woman how to breathe in her body and how to invite her man. I'm going to do another video on this because it's a bit more complex and a bit important. So I'm going to do a separate one for it. But I taught her how to invite her man instead of telling her man. She can feel in her body, the woman can feel in her body the second the man drops out of his body, the second he leaves his body and goes into his head, she can feel it, and it causes her pain. So I taught the woman how to deal with that in a way that invites him back in instead of chases him back out and pushes him further away. There are so many times when we are relating to each other as a couple that we are pushing each other away instead of drawing each other back in. We have been shown really different and dysfunctional ways to communicate, and that's because we're doing it in our head. So what I can actually teach is working through the body. And the reason I was able to do this for a couple in one session was because they'd both done a family constellation first. Without the family constellation, we do need to do a little bit more talk therapy, because I need to understand the people who I'm dealing with and who are sitting in front of me. And the family constellation shows me everything about the person that I could possibly need to know. I get to know my clients at a great depth when you come to me for a family constellation. And then I can work with you on another level to be able to move forward. So that's something else that I offer. And if that sounds of interest to you, if you would like to learn a different way to communicate through your body with your partner, or just in life in general, if it's something that you would really like to learn, it works better with a partner because you have that real-time feedback, and it's a beautiful thing to do with your partner. So that's how I recommend you would do it. And I would advise family constellations first, because we can go deeper faster, but I'll let you choose that. If this sounds like something that would interest you, please shoot me a DM, or you can book with me via the website. And I look forward to working with you sometime soon.